The ride from Atlanta up to North Carolina was really a pretty one. Can't say much for the flight out of Dallas into Atlanta, but once I got north of Atlanta and headed up into the mountains through the forest there of North Carolina, it was really a beautiful drive. And certainly getting into the Smoky Mountains was a real treat. I had not had a chance to drive through this area before. But late in the evening I did arrive at the Franklin Motel. Got to meet everybody, got to get reacquainted with some people that I had seen before in Murfreesboro and Tucson, and got to meet a lot of new friends. On the first day we went to a place called Mason's, and had got to have our first group picture. We'll get everybody to post up on the forums there so everybody can put a name to the faces here. We don't have enough time on the video. But we did pose for a group shot before going down to the mining area and getting lined up so we could get our buckets and our screens, and getting a little bit of a pep talk from the mine owners to kind of tell us what we needed to do and what to expect, what to look for. And I believe Marcia shot this shot of me. I was back taking pictures of everybody. And then they went down to the dirt pile. They actually brought this dirt pile down from the mine up in the mountain, and then everybody could dig from that and fill your buckets up. And once you got your buckets filled with the sand, and these are alluvial deposits of sapphires, so you would take that sand down to the sluice boxes and wash them and see what all you had. There's Lee Little standing up, I guess trying to see what everybody else is up to. And Gloria found a really nice piece. This is a conglomerate piece that had a lot of little ruby crystals sticking out of it. Really nice find there. This first location had some fun stuff. And we spent about a half a day here. Washed up quite a bit of dirt. We had a lot of family members, a lot of people there. We had a big group there. And of course I couldn't resist getting into a little bit of my own there in the hat with Gloria. But we washed until about midday, and then it was time to move on to the next mine, which was the Cherokee. And at the Cherokee mine, we actually did the mining a little different. They actually pre-filled the buckets and brought them down. So you would pay per bucket. In other words, how many buckets you washed, you would pay on a per bucket basis. And they had the sluice box, and it was really, it was kind of a relaxing afternoon because we didn't have to go do a lot of digging and filling the buckets. I even got into it here. The water was really clean in this particular sluice box, and so we really wanted to jump into it. Here I am with Cindy and Jeff. Cindy's washing some of her gravel. And this was kind of a fun location to be. We didn't find a whole lot, but we had a good time here and learned a lot. And then on to our big place for the evening, Cody's Roadhouse. That became ISG Central for the evenings. Had a nice big crowd. And we actually had 3 tables full of people. Had a really big crowd there. And they gave us the back room, the back meeting room, and we all got to talk and tell stories and talk about what we had found for the day. And of course we had a few little prizes for Marty. This is a tote bag, an ISG tote bag, because Marty did such a wonderful job of planning out this trip for us. And then Nikki won the prize for coming the farthest. She drove the farthest of everyone there. In the evenings we had a really nice time talking and sharing. The motel had a nice veranda area with the chairs so everybody could meet and talk. And then we also had some looks at the gemstones, and we had some gemstone identification practice in the rooms, and it was just a fun night of sharing. We had a great time, everybody getting together and talking about what they had found. The next morning we're off to our full day of mining at the Mason's mine. This is a different Mason's mine. This was several miles out of town up in the mountains. And this was a fun location because we could actually go dig out into the mountain. We actually dug our own ore rather than having it dug for us and brought to us or pre-dug. We actually were able to go up into the mining area and dig it. Here's another group. You'll notice that there's a few different faces in each group shot. That's because everybody's kind of milling around. Once again, we'll have to post these up on the forum so everybody can start understanding who everyone is. But here's Pete. He owns a mine, and he is giving us a talk about what we should be looking for, the type of sapphires that are being found in the mine, and what kind of dirt to be looking for. And then we had Coleman, they're in the red shirt, we call him Mountain Man Coleman, kind of gave everybody a talk about getting ready to dig, and then it was off to the mine, up on the mountainside, through some really beautiful country. And then we dug up the ore and brought it back to the sluice box, and Coleman and some of the guys helped us know what to look for. They helped us see what to look for. Here Coleman is helping Gloria. And then it was our turn just to sit there and dig and wash and dig and wash and dig and wash. We spent the whole day there. Here's Elaine giving us that look of, I haven't found anything yet. She gave us that look for the morning, but I think as the afternoon wore on, she did find quite a few sapphires. There in the yellow shirt is Jeff, and here's everyone continuing to wash the ore. We did meet up with one of the JTV junkies at the left. That's Cindy. And then Gail is on the right. We ran across Gail here at the mine, and she's one of the JTV junkies. It was really nice to see her. But pretty much it was just dig and wash and dig and wash. Gloria, she had her charms on the local guys who was actually giving us the tours. She turned into a real good supervisor, a mining supervisor, to tell all the guys how to do the digging. In fact, she even got me in on it. This is an area where we found a vein that we actually got a lot of little sapphires from. And of course, once we got into this, Gloria dutifully picked up a shovel and did her own share of digging, so we can appreciate that. But Gloria was fun to be there. It was her first trip, and she had the guys, the tour guys there, absolutely eating out of her hand the whole time. Here she has Keith, and Keith was just over there all the time helping her especially. So that was kind of a lot of fun to watch. But we continued to dig through the side of the hill, do a lot of washing, and we did find a lot of sapphires. It was fun to find how many sapphires were actually at this location. Here's Marty and Rick. Marty did such a wonderful job of making this trip happen that we really appreciate all the hard work that she did go put into this to make it happen. And here's Nikki and Jeff washing out. Jeff found a huge amount of sapphires. I was standing right beside him, and he still beat me. And of course, the special carrots that Bruce found in his bucket. There's stories about this on the forums, but this was a great deal of fun. And then later on the day, it started raining. In fact, it rained pretty hard. We had some thunderstorms come through, so we had to start picking up rather quickly. Here's a look at the mining building itself. But part of the most fun is what we found here, because we were very successful. This is a 2.5 carat pink sapphire that I found. I didn't find near as much as Jeff, and I was standing right next to him, but I think he found the right places to be digging. But everybody, I think, found sapphires on this trip, and that made it for a really fun trip. And then the drive back to the hotel, back through the mountains, was just wonderful. It was a beautiful scenery. North Carolina is absolutely gorgeous. And the downtown area around Franklin, it's really a pretty place. The people of Franklin, North Carolina are absolutely fantastic. I had a great time with them. In fact, the whole trip there was just wonderful. The downtown area has a lot of little shops and museums, and there's a lot of historic areas to go visit, and it's a fun place to go spend some time. And then that night, of course, we were back at Cody's, ISG Central. Cody's was our late night hangout. That was a place we had a lot of fun. Had a smaller group because some of the people had already left for the day. This was Saturday night, but we had a good time. And then Sunday morning we had breakfast together as everyone was starting to head out, and we had a good time sharing stories and hooking up with each other, sharing addresses. I got to meet with Lana there, that's in the orange, and this is some sapphires that have been in her family for a long time that she shared with me. Found out later that there's actually some very expensive stones here. It's interesting to see them rough. And of course, here I am just before I leave, arm around Cindy, her husband taking the shot, so everything was cool. Cindy is one of our new students, also a JTV junkie, and we were really glad to have them with us. And then it was back towards Atlanta. It seemed like it was over before it started, but the trip itself was so much fun. The scenery was so beautiful. We found a lot of sapphires, and we had a lot of fun with everybody. And the trip literally seemed like it was just done before it was even started, because we had so much good time with it. And of course, look forward to 2009. We're going to Oregon for sunstone mining. So everybody start planning for that. Also plan for Tucson 2009. That's going to be coming up in February. But then absolutely the Oregon Sunstone Mine trip is going to be a must for everyone.